You just found your seat, you shoved your bag in the overhead bin, and now you're sitting there scrolling your phone waiting for everyone else to squeeze down the aisle. Feels like dead time, right? It's not. The next 10 to 15 minutes before that cabin door closes might actually be the most important window of your entire flight. Miss it, and you could be uncomfortable, sick, stressed, or just completely miserable for the next several hours. Stay with me because I'm going to walk you through everything you need to do the moment you board that plane, and I promise some of these are going to surprise you. Let's start with the one thing almost nobody does but everybody should. The second you find your seat. Before you even sit down properly, look at that seat. I mean, really look at it. Check the seat pocket in front of you. This sounds basic, but people find phones, wallets, passports, medication, even cash left behind by previous passengers. More importantly, check for damage. Is the tray table broken? Is the recline mechanism stuck? Is there something wet on the seat that definitely should not be wet? If you find a problem now, while the plane is still at the gate and flight attendants are in a good mood, you can actually get it fixed or get moved. Wait until you're in the air and good luck getting anyone to care. While you're doing that inspection, check the armrests. Both of them. Claim territory now. Once everyone is seated and buckled in, the armrest wars are decided. The person who got there first and already has their elbow down wins by default. That sounds petty, and it is petty, but you will absolutely care about it on a 6-hour flight. Now let's talk about something slightly more serious. Identify your exits. I know you've heard the flight safety announcement so many times you could recite it in your sleep. But there's a difference between half listening to a recording and actually turning your head and counting the rows to the nearest exit. Aviation safety researchers have consistently noted that people who know where their exits are before something goes wrong have significantly better outcomes in emergency situations. Count the rows. Turn around if the nearest exit is behind you. This takes 15 seconds and it could genuinely matter. Right after that, take your shoes off. No, wait, actually don't do that yet. That comes later. First, get your stuff organized while you still have room to move. Here's the mistake I see constantly. People shove their main bag in the overhead bin and then realize their headphones, snacks, charger, book, and neck pillow are all buried in there. Now they're climbing over the person in the middle seat every 20 minutes to dig around in the overhead. Before you close that bin, pull out everything you actually need for the flight and put it in the seat pocket or under the seat in front of you. Make yourself a little personal kit. Think about what you use on a flight. Headphones, yes. A book or tablet. Your water bottle if you brought one. Snacks, absolutely. Any medication you might need. Lip balm, hand lotion, a pen. Get it all out and within reach before that door closes and before people are buckled in and annoyed by you climbing over them. Speaking of water bottles, if you boarded with an empty one, some airports let you fill it after security. But if yours is empty, now is the time to ask a flight attendant if they can fill it or at least get you a cup of water before takeoff. Cabin air is notoriously dry. You start dehydrating from the moment you get on the plane. The humidity inside a commercial aircraft cabin typically hovers somewhere around 10 to 20%. For comparison, most people find humidity levels below 30% uncomfortable. Getting water in you early and continuing to drink throughout the flight is one of the most effective things you can do for how you feel when you land. Now here's one most people completely skip. Screenshot or download your boarding pass offline before you get on. But I mean also screenshot your hotel confirmation, your rental car booking, your itinerary, any phone numbers you might need. Why? Because once you're airborne, you may or may not have Wi-Fi. And even if you do, airline Wi-Fi is often slow, unreliable, and sometimes completely down. Do this while you're still on the ground connected to airport Wi-Fi. It takes 5 minutes and it means that when you land in a foreign city at 11 p.m. and your data roaming isn't working yet, you can still see where your hotel is and what the confirmation number is. Let's shift gears for a second because I want to talk about something nobody in any travel advice video seems to mention, and that's your mental state for the flight. The boarding process is chaotic. People are stressed. The gate agent was probably stressed. Getting through security might have been a mess. You bring all of that on with you. But once you're in your seat, you have an opportunity to do a genuine reset. Take a slow breath. Actually do it right now just thinking about it. Let your shoulders drop. You made the flight. You're on. Whatever happened before this moment is done. Choosing how you mentally enter the flight actually affects how the whole thing goes. Stress keeps your body in a fight or flight response, which, ironically, is the worst possible state to be in when you're trying to arrive at your destination feeling good. Okay, back to the practical stuff. Connect to the in-flight entertainment system right away. This is especially true on international flights or long-haul routes where the system sometimes needs to sync or update. If you wait until you're in the air and the system hasn't loaded properly, you could spend 20 minutes troubleshooting or just be stuck staring at a loading screen. Also, if the airline app has an entertainment feature, open it now while you might still have a signal or ground Wi-Fi to load things up. Here's one that's going to save you from a genuinely unpleasant situation. Before takeoff, adjust your air vent. That little nozzle above your head pointing down at you is one of your best tools on the plane. Research on aircraft ventilation suggests that keeping air flowing over you can actually help reduce your exposure to airborne particles from other passengers. Set it to a medium flow directed toward you, not blasting in your face, just a gentle movement of air. This also helps with that groggy, stuffy feeling you get on long flights. Now I want to address something that generated a ton of discussion the last time I covered travel tips. Some of you are going to say that the best thing to do when you board is take medication. Sleep aids, melatonin, maybe something for anxiety or motion sickness. And look, I'm not here to tell you not to take your prescribed medication. But the comments I consistently see from flight attendants and pilots who watch travel content make a really important point. Know what you're taking and when. A lot of people pop a sleep aid the second they get on the plane without accounting for the fact that the flight might be delayed, diverted, or that they might need to be alert and move quickly in an emergency. If you're taking something that makes you groggy, be thoughtful about the timing. Take it once you're actually in the air and have a good sense that the flight is proceeding normally. Change your watch or your phone clock to the destination time zone right now. Do it manually if you need to. This sounds like a small thing, but it's a surprisingly powerful tool for managing jet lag. Your body starts to orient itself based on external cues, and time is one of those cues. If you land and your phone still says it's 3 in the morning when it's actually 10 at your destination, your brain is going to be getting conflicting signals. Making that switch mentally and on your devices while you're still on the ground helps your body begin the adjustment earlier. If you're on a long flight and you know you're going to want to sleep, get your sleep setup ready now. Not halfway through the flight when the lights are already off and everyone around you is already settled. Now means neck pillow on or accessible, blanket out if they provided one, eye mask ready, headphones set to whatever you sleep best with, noise canceling turned on. Having your sleep setup ready before the flight even takes off means the transition to sleep is seamless. You won't be fumbling in the dark, you won't be waking up the person next to you, and you can actually capitalize on that golden window of exhaustion that most people have in the first hour or two of a long flight. One thing that tends to get pushback in comments, but I stand firmly behind: introduce yourself briefly to the people next to you. Not a full conversation, not your life story. Just make eye contact, a small nod, maybe a quick hello. Why does this matter? Because you are going to be in close physical proximity to this person for potentially many hours. If you need them to get up so you can use the restroom, it's a lot less awkward. If something goes wrong, you've established a baseline of humanity with each other. And psychologically, it changes the entire dynamic from strangers ignoring each other to people who have acknowledged each other's existence. Several frequent flyers who comment on travel videos note that this tiny act of acknowledgement makes the whole experience smoother. Download any content you want to watch before you get on. But wait, you're already on the plane when you're reading this, and you may be thinking you missed that window. Here's the thing. You might still have ground Wi-Fi at some airports, and even if you don't, now is still the time to queue up whatever is already available offline and have it organized and accessible. Don't waste in-flight time setting up your entertainment. That should already be ready to go. Let's talk about your body for a minute. Before the seatbelt sign goes on for takeoff, take a walk to the back of the plane. I know, it sounds weird. People are still boarding, it's crowded, but If you can do it, use the restroom even if you don't urgently need to. Once that seatbelt sign comes on, you're stuck in your seat. On some flights with extended taxi times, you could be sitting for 30 to 45 minutes before you're even airborne. There's nothing worse than needing a bathroom break during takeoff, especially if turbulence keeps the seatbelt sign on longer than expected. Along the same lines, if you're prone to ear pressure during takeoff and landing, have your strategy ready before you start climbing. Whether that's chewing gum, swallowing frequently, using earplugs designed for pressure equalization, or doing the Valsalva maneuver where you gently pinch your nose and exhale through it. Have that plan in place and your tools accessible before you even start moving. Now here's the psychological payoff I promised you earlier. All of these things have one thing in common. They put you in control. Flying takes away a lot of your control. You can't speed up the process, you can't change the weather, you can't make the baby in 23C stop crying. But everything we've talked about today is within your power to do. And the research on stress consistently shows that when people feel like they have agency, even in a constrained environment, they report significantly lower anxiety and higher overall well-being. Doing these small, concrete actions when you board isn't just practically useful, it genuinely changes how your brain experiences the entire flight. Let me give you the rapid-fire rundown of a few more things that belong in this category. Take a photo of your overhead bin location, or at least note your row number before you get settled. When you're half asleep deplaning at 6 in the morning, you will absolutely walk right past your bag. Pull the safety card out of the seat pocket and actually look at it once. Not because you need a lesson, but because physical engagement with your surroundings is grounding. Put your phone on airplane mode when they tell you, not 5 minutes later. It's not about the rules, it's about the signal it sends to your brain that you are now transitioning out of constant connectivity mode. That's actually healthy. Let your relevant people know you've boarded. A quick message to whoever is picking you up or worried about you. Do it now while you have signal. Don't make people wait and wonder, and don't put it off until you land and forget entirely. If you have a long connection or a tight layover, look at your connecting gate now. Pull up the airline app while you have ground signal and see where you're going. Is your next gate in a different terminal? Do you need to take a train? Having that information before you land means you're already in motion with a plan, instead of standing in the aisle of the plane while everyone deboarded ahead of you waiting to check your phone. One last thing, and this might be the most underrated tip in this entire video. Wipe down your tray table and armrest with a disinfectant wipe. Multiple studies have found that the tray table surface is one of the more bacteria-dense surfaces in the aircraft environment. You're going to eat off that thing. You might rest your face near it if you sleep sitting forward. Do yourself a small favor and spend 20 seconds cleaning it. Keep the wipes accessible rather than buried in your bag. You'll also want one for the screen if it's a touchscreen entertainment system. Boarding a plane is not dead time. It's a window of opportunity that most people completely waste. The passengers who arrive at their destination feeling good, who didn't get sick, who weren't stressed and uncomfortable, who had everything they needed, are almost always the ones who use those first 15 minutes wisely. You now know exactly what to do. So the next time you find yourself shuffling down that aisle with your carry-on dragging behind you, you've got a plan. If this helped you, drop a comment below with the one thing you're going to start doing that you weren't before. I read every single one. And if you want more travel tips that actually come from real experience rather than generic listicles you've already seen 100 times, hit subscribe because we've got a lot more coming. Safe travels.